Well, setting bond under Idaho Criminal Rule 46 in these kind of circumstances is always a difficult thing to do. It requires the court to balance certain things, including the presumption of innocence and the likelihood that a defendant will appear at future court proceedings, with the other factors that are outlined in the rule, including things such as the nature of the current charge, aggravating and mitigating circumstances, the prior record of the defendant, and the possibility of future law violations if he is released on bond. I would note that I do believe that today I have substantially more information about the defendant than I had at the time that he was originally arraigned in this matter. Certainly there was some discussion, I believe, with the defendant initially about what his circumstances were, including his employment and those sorts of things. However, there's substantially more information, I think, at this point in time about his residency and the history of his residency, his employment and the history of his employment, the fact that he has been serving in the military, and also the facts and circumstances surrounding his family. Well, I guess my underlying feeling on one of the main issues here, and that is what is the possibility that the defendant will flee or not appear at future proceedings, is that though that risk always exists in any case where any defendant is released under any circumstances, I think it's reasonably fair to believe, under what we know about Mr. Stevens at this point in time, that he's not a substantial flight risk and will in all likelihood appear at further proceedings. At the same time, I can't ignore the fact that what's charged in this particular matter concerns the death of an individual, that the allegations that support the charge in this particular case concern the use of controlled substances and being under the influence of those at the time that this occurred, and that the defendant, though not by criminal history, has a specific history known to the court of allegations of the illegal use of controlled substances. He does have a history of overuse or abuse of alcohol, which, while treated differently under the law, is nevertheless in many respects the same thing. It's the abuse of mind-altering substances that lead to people being involved with the criminal justice system. So it certainly gives the court some pause and concern concerning the future conduct of the defendant if released, to do everything that the court can do to assure that there is no use or abuse of alcohol or controlled substances, or they do not lead the defendant into further trouble or violations with the law if he is released on bond pending further proceedings.